Perhaps you arrived here because your mind has not yet found rest. The day may already be over, the lights dimmed, the world quieter than before, and yet your thoughts continue moving, circling, replaying moments, conversations, concerns, or unfinished feelings that refuse to settle. If that is true for you, know this gently and without urgency. There is nothing you need to fix right now. This is a quiet space, a place where nothing is demanded of you. A moment where words are not here to instruct, correct, or rush you, but simply to remain with you softly as you are. Scripture often reminds us that rest does not begin in the body, but in the inner places of the mind and heart. When the mind is allowed to slow, even slightly, the rest of us begins to follow. And tonight, slowing down is enough. You do not need to reach deep peace all at once. You only need to be here. As you listen, allow your breathing to remain natural. There is no technique required, no special rhythm to follow. Just let the words come and go, like gentle waves, without effort. If your attention drifts, that is okay. If you hear only parts of what is being said, that is also okay. Rest does not require perfection. The scriptures were often spoken aloud long before they were ever written. They were meant to be heard slowly, to be carried by the voice, to settle gradually rather than be understood all at once. Tonight you are not here to analyze meaning or search for answers. You are here to receive presence. Be still and know that I am God. This invitation from the Psalms is not a command to silence every thought. It is an invitation to stop striving, to loosen the grip, to rest from effort. Stillness begins not when thoughts disappear, but when we stop wrestling with them. If worries arise, you do not need to push them away. Simply notice them and let them pass through without judgment. You are allowed to be tired here. You are allowed to be uncertain. You are allowed to rest even without clarity. There is a gentleness woven through Scripture that often goes unnoticed when we read quickly, a patience, a sense of companionship. Again and again, the words remind us that we are not carrying life alone, even when it feels that way, especially when it feels that way. Tonight, these words are not here to solve your problems. They are here to sit beside you in them. To remind your nervous system that it does not have to stay alert. To remind your heart that it is safe to soften, even briefly. As we continue, the pace will remain slow and steady. Nothing sudden, nothing sharp. Just a quiet unfolding. You may begin to notice your shoulders relaxing, or your jaw unclenching, or your breath becoming slightly deeper. If you do, allow it. If you do not, allow that too. There is no wrong way to rest. Stay here for a while. There is no rush to move forward. The night is long, and these words will remain with you, gently, one by one. As you remain here, there is no need to adjust anything. Nothing needs to change for this moment to be enough. The simple act of staying, of allowing yourself to listen without expectation, is already a form of rest. So often, the mind stays alert because it believes it must protect you. It replays the day, scans for mistakes, imagines futures that have not arrived, and carries concerns that feel unfinished. This vigilance may have once been useful, but tonight, it is allowed to soften. You are not abandoning responsibility. You are simply pausing. Scripture gently reminds us that there is a time for action, and there is a time for rest. A time to carry, and a time to be carried. Many of the most comforting passages were spoken to people who were tired, uncertain, or overwhelmed. Not to push them forward, but to let them breathe. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This invitation is not rushed. It does not demand explanation or qualification. It does not ask you to be stronger, clearer, or more faithful than you are right now. It simply acknowledges weariness and responds with rest. As these words are spoken, you may notice subtle changes. Your breathing may slow just a little. Your body may feel heavier, more settled, or perhaps nothing noticeable happens at all. All of this is fine. Rest does not always announce itself. Sometimes it arrives quietly, without sensation, without proof. Listening to Scripture in this way is less about understanding and more about companionship. The words are not here to be dissected or mastered. They are here to remain with you, to create a sense of steadiness, like a familiar presence in the room. There is no need to hold every sentence in your memory. If certain phrases linger, let them. If others pass unnoticed, allow that too. You are not missing anything. The mind often relaxes when it realizes it is not being tested. There is no quiz at the end of this listening, no requirement to remember or respond. Just a gentle offering of words, one after another, at a pace that does not compete with your nervous system. In many moments throughout Scripture, rest is described not as escape, but as trust. Trust that the world does not collapse when you stop holding it together. Trust that care continues even when effort pauses. Trust that you are seen even when you are quiet. Tonight, rest can simply mean allowing yourself to stop striving. Not forever. Just for now. If thoughts continue to arise, you do not need to push them away. You can imagine them as clouds passing across a wide sky. They move, they change shape, they drift. And behind them, the sky remains unchanged. You may also find comfort in knowing that you are not listening alone. Across time and place, countless others have turned to these same words in moments of fatigue, uncertainty, or longing for peace. The quiet strength of Scripture has accompanied many through nights like this one. As we continue, the tone will remain steady and calm. There will be no sudden shifts, no demands placed upon you. Just a slow unfolding, allowing space for your inner world to settle at its own pace. Stay with these words. Let them do what they are meant to do. Not hurry you, not fix you, but gently remind you that rest is possible even now. As these moments unfold, there is no need to measure progress. Rest is not something to achieve, and peace is not something to earn. They are experiences that arrive most naturally when we stop trying to control them. Many of us have learned to stay mentally alert, even in moments meant for rest. The mind becomes accustomed to vigilance, as if quiet were unsafe or unproductive. But Scripture gently tells a different story. Again and again, it reminds us that there is safety in stillness and strength in surrender. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. These words are not hurried. They paint an image of guidance without force, of care without pressure. A shepherd does not rush the sheep through the night. He walks with them, watches over them, and allows them to rest when they are tired. You may notice that your body responds before your thoughts do. Perhaps your shoulders ease slightly. Perhaps your breathing deepens without intention. Perhaps your muscles release tension they have been holding for hours. These small changes matter. They are signs that the nervous system is receiving permission to rest. If your thoughts wander, there is no need to bring them back sharply. You can let them drift, gently returning your attention to the sound of the words whenever it feels natural. This is not a discipline. It is an invitation. Scripture was never meant to be rushed through like a task. It carries a rhythm that mirrors the pace of the human heart when it is calm. When read slowly, Its meaning often reaches deeper places, not through explanation, but through presence. There is comfort in knowing that rest is woven into the design of life itself. From the earliest stories, we see cycles of work and rest, effort and pause. Even creation itself includes moments of completion followed by stillness. Rest is not weakness. It is part of wholeness. You lie down in green pastures. Notice how passive the language is. Not striving, not forcing. Simply lying down, allowed to rest in a place that is safe and sustaining. Tonight, you are allowed to rest without justification. You do not need to explain your fatigue. You do not need to resolve unanswered questions. You do not need to plan tomorrow. The quiet companionship of these words is enough. Sometimes the deepest rest comes not from silence alone, but from gentle reassurance, a reminder that you are held, that you are seen, that your worth does not fluctuate with productivity or clarity. Scripture offers this reassurance repeatedly, often in the simplest phrases. As you listen, imagine these words settling around you like a calm presence, not crowding your thoughts, not demanding attention, but simply being near. Like a steady light in the background, constant and reliable. If emotions surface, allow them. If memories arise, let them pass gently. Nothing here needs to be resolved tonight. There is wisdom in letting the mind rest before it understands. There is healing in allowing the heart to soften before it feels safe. And there is peace in trusting that rest itself is a form of care. The pace will remain slow and unhurried as we continue. There is no destination to reach, no conclusion to rush toward, only a steady unfolding of words, offered one at a time. Stay here. Let the night hold you. Let the Scripture do what it has always done best. Remain faithful, quiet, and present. As the night continues, there is an invitation to loosen the grip just a little more. Not all at once, and not with effort, but gently, as trust grows through presence rather than control. Rest often deepens when the mind realizes it does not have to stay alert in order to be safe. Scripture speaks often to those who are weary, not with urgency, but with reassurance. It acknowledges the weight people carry, the unseen burdens, the quiet fears, the long days, and it responds with steadiness. Again and again, it offers not solutions, but shelter. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. Closeness does not rush. Closeness does not demand explanation. It simply stays. If your thoughts are still active, allow them space. They do not need to be silenced for rest to arrive. Like a room settling after movement, calm often comes gradually as things find their place on their own. You may notice moments where attention fades, where the words become distant, or where time feels less defined. This is not a problem. It is often a sign that the mind is shifting into a slower rhythm. You do not need to pull yourself back into focus. The Scriptures were shaped in quiet places, deserts, hillsides, nights lit only by stars. They carry the tone of those environments, spacious, patient, unhurried. When read slowly, they recreate that same sense of open stillness within us. There is comfort in remembering that you are not required to carry everything alone. Many passages speak of burdens being shared, of care extending beyond individual strength. This is not an abstract idea. It is a lived experience, repeated across generations. Cast your cares, for you are cared for. This is not an instruction to force release. It is an invitation to trust that care exists beyond your effort. Tonight you can allow some of the weight to rest elsewhere, even briefly, even partially. You are not failing by resting. You are participating in something deeply human. As the words continue, notice the spaces between them. Not empty spaces, but gentle pauses that allow the meaning to breathe. There is no rush to fill silence. Silence itself can be supportive. You may find that the body responds before the mind fully agrees. A slower breath, a heavier feeling in the limbs, a sense of being held by the surface beneath you. These are signs of settling, of safety returning. Scripture does not ask you to ignore reality. It invites you to rest within it, to acknowledge what is difficult without being consumed by it. There is a quiet strength in remaining present without resistance, in allowing the moment to be what it is, without judgment or urgency. This kind of presence often opens the door to deeper rest than effort ever could. As we move forward, the tone will remain consistent, calm, steady, unchanging. There will be no surprises, no sudden shifts, just a gentle continuation, allowing the mind and heart to align with a slower pace. Stay here. You do not need to do anything else. The night is wide, and rest is already closer than it may feel. As you remain with these words, there is no need to check how you are doing. Rest does not improve when it is observed too closely. Often, it deepens when we stop monitoring it altogether. There is a quiet wisdom in allowing the moment to unfold without evaluation. You do not need to ask whether you are calm enough, relaxed enough, or focused enough. The body and the mind know how to soften when given enough time and gentleness. Scripture often speaks in this same unhurried way. It does not rush to conclusions. It allows meaning to settle slowly, like dust drifting down after movement has passed. This is why listening can be so different from reading. Listening invites the words to arrive without effort. Be still and know. This phrase does not command silence through force. It invites stillness through trust. It suggests that knowing does not always come from thinking harder, but from allowing space. You may notice that your awareness is beginning to widen. Sounds may feel farther away. Thoughts may come and go with less intensity. Or perhaps the words feel like they are floating without needing to be held. All of this is part of settling. There is nothing fragile about this state. It does not need protection. It does not disappear if thoughts return. Rest can exist alongside thinking, alongside feeling, alongside memory. Scripture acknowledges the full range of human experience. It speaks to fear, to doubt, to longing, and to hope. But it does not insist that these experiences be resolved immediately. Often, it simply names them and stays. The Lord is near. Near does not mean loud. Near does not mean intrusive. Near means present, steady, and reliable. Tonight, presence is enough. You are not required to move forward. You are not required to reach insight. You are allowed to remain exactly where you are. As the words continue, you may notice the body becoming heavier. This heaviness is not fatigue alone. It is often a sign of safety, the muscles no longer holding themselves ready. If sleep begins to approach, there is no need to resist it. You do not need to stay alert for every sentence. The words are not dependent on your attention to be effective. They can accompany you even as awareness fades. Listening in this way is not about effort. It is about allowing something steady to remain nearby, like a lamp left on in a quiet room, offering light without demanding focus. There is reassurance in repetition, in tone that does not change. The nervous system responds to predictability, to the absence of surprise. This steadiness is intentional. Scripture has carried people through countless nights like this one, nights filled with unanswered questions, nights marked by exhaustion or quiet longing. Its role has never been to hurry people through darkness, but to remain faithful within it. You may allow your breathing to find its own rhythm. No need to guide it. No need to deepen it intentionally. The body knows how to breathe when it is not being watched. As we move forward, nothing will be asked of you. There will be no change in pace, no shift in tone, only a gentle continuation. Stay with these words for as long as they are helpful. And if they begin to fade into the background, that is welcome too. Rest does not require awareness. It only requires permission. As the night deepens, there is nothing new that needs to happen. Rest is not built through accumulation, but through release. The more we allow things to remain unfinished, the more space calm can occupy. Scripture understands this rhythm well. It does not rush toward clarity. It does not insist on immediate answers. Instead, it offers companionship, the kind that stays even when understanding is incomplete. Come to me, all who are weary. This invitation does not specify conditions. It does not require explanation. Weariness alone is enough. You may notice that the edges of your thoughts feel softer now. They may still appear, but they no longer demand response. Like distant echoes, they can be heard without being followed. There is relief in realizing that rest does not require participation. You do not need to cooperate with it perfectly. You only need to stop resisting it. Scripture often speaks of rest as something given, not achieved, a gift, not a reward. Something that arrives when striving loosens its hold. My peace I give to you. Given, not negotiated. Offered, not earned. As these words continue, your awareness may drift in and out. You may hear fragments rather than sentences. This is not distraction. It is transition. The mind naturally moves toward rest when it senses steadiness. Predictable tone, unchanging pace, no sudden demands. This environment allows the nervous system to settle without instruction. There is nothing fragile about this process. If thoughts return sharply for a moment, that is fine. If the body shifts or adjusts, that is fine. Rest is flexible. It adapts. Scripture does not require your full attention to be present. It has accompanied people through sleep, illness, waiting, and uncertainty for generations. Its strength is not in intensity, but in endurance. The Lord watches over you. Watching does not mean controlling. It means remaining attentive without interference. A quiet vigilance that does not interrupt rest. Tonight, you are allowed to be watched over rather than watching yourself. You do not need to monitor your thoughts. You do not need to manage your breathing. You do not need to stay alert. If sleep comes, let it come naturally. If wakefulness remains, let it remain gently. There is no wrong way to experience this moment. The words will continue at the same pace. The tone will remain steady. Nothing unexpected will occur. You are safe to let go a little more, safe to soften, safe to rest without explanation. Stay here or drift away. Both are welcome. As this moment continues, there is no need to be aware of time passing. Rest does not respond well to clocks or schedules. It deepens when urgency slowly loosens its grip and no longer demands attention. Scripture has never treated silence as something empty or lacking. It understands silence as space, a living space, a place where nothing needs to be solved, explained, or corrected, a place where presence alone is enough. In peace I will lie down and sleep. These words are not spoken with effort. They are not instructions. They are not a task to accomplish. They are a quiet expression of trust. A trust that comes from releasing what no longer needs to be carried. You may begin to notice subtle changes in the body. Perhaps the shoulders feel less tense. Perhaps the jaw softens without intention. Breathing may become slower, deeper, or simply steadier. Or perhaps nothing feels different at all. Each experience is valid. Rest does not demand a specific sensation to be real. True rest does not follow a single pattern. It does not arrive the same way each night. Sometimes it comes gently, almost unnoticed. Other times it settles in layers, gradually, without announcement. Scripture remains faithful through every variation of the human experience. It does not require readiness. It does not withdraw when the mind remains active. It does not leave when sleep feels distant. It stays. The Lord is my shepherd. This image does not speak of speed or pressure. It speaks of steady care, of guidance that adapts to the pace of those being led. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is forced. Tonight, there is no need to hurry rest. No need to try to fall asleep. No need to manage thoughts or emotions. The effort to control is often what creates the most fatigue. Allowing is simpler. Allowing the moment to be exactly as it is. Allowing the words to accompany you without asking for focus. Allowing attention to drift naturally, without resistance. If thoughts appear, they do not need to be followed. They do not require answers now. They can pass like clouds moving across a wide sky. Observed briefly, then released. Scripture has never rushed toward conclusions. It unfolds slowly, through repetition, through constancy, through the quiet assurance that presence matters more than explanation. You may remain awake and listening, or you may drift toward sleep. Both are welcome. Both are safe. Nothing here will shift abruptly. Nothing will suddenly change direction. The words will continue gently, at the same pace, with the same calm tone. Rest does not come because something was done correctly. It comes when there is no longer a need to do it all. When effort steps aside, when permission replaces control. Remain here as long as you wish, or allow sleep to arrive in its own time. Everything is already in place. As these words continue, there is no expectation for how you should be feeling. There is no correct response to rest. No required outcome. Rest is not a destination to reach, but a space to remain within. Scripture often speaks in images rather than explanations. Still waters, quiet paths, gentle guidance. These are not instructions to follow. They are invitations to notice what already exists beneath the noise. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened. This invitation does not depend on strength. It does not require clarity. It is offered precisely when weariness is present, especially when the mind feels full and the body feels tired. You may notice that attention drifts in and out. That is natural. Listening does not require constant focus. The words are meant to remain with you, not to demand effort. Breathing continues on its own. The body knows how to rest when it is allowed. There is no need to assist the process, no need to intervene. Sometimes the mind resists quiet, not because it is broken, but because it has been moving for a long time. Movement does not stop instantly. It slows gradually. Scripture honors this process. It does not insist on immediate stillness. It allows space for transition, for the shift from doing to being. Be still and know. Stillness here is not forceful. It is not silence imposed. It is a soft settling, a recognition that nothing needs to be added in this moment. If thoughts arise, let them exist without engagement. They do not require judgment. They do not require correction. They can simply be noticed and released. Rest deepens when resistance fades, when the need to understand gives way to permission to simply experience. Understanding can wait, explanation can wait. Scripture remains steady even when awareness fades, even when sleep approaches, even when attention dissolves. It does not depend on being fully heard to remain present. You are not missing anything if you drift. Nothing important will be lost. The tone remains gentle. The pace remains slow. This moment is not about progress. It is not about achievement. It is about allowing the nervous system to recognize safety, to recognize that nothing is being asked. The body often responds before the mind does. A sense of heaviness, a feeling of warmth, a loosening that happens without instruction. Scripture does not rush this response. It accompanies it, quietly, faithfully. You are welcome to remain awake. You are welcome to rest deeply. Both belong here. There is no transition you need to manage, no moment you need to anticipate. The words will continue without change. Rest does not need to be protected. It does not need to be held tightly. It arrives naturally when space is made. Allow this space to remain open. Allow the moment to carry you gently forward. Nothing else is required. As this quiet rhythm continues, there is no need to remain alert. Awareness can soften. Attention can drift without concern. Nothing here depends on effort. Scripture often speaks of rest as something received, not achieved, a gift rather than a result. It arrives when striving loosens and control is no longer required. Those who dwell in the shelter of the Most High. To dwell is not to visit briefly, it is to remain, to settle into a place of safety without the need to watch the door. You may notice the body responding in subtle ways, a deeper breath, a heavier feeling in the limbs, a gentle sense of sinking, or perhaps only stillness. Each response is welcome. The mind may still wander. That is not a failure of rest. It is simply the mind releasing momentum. Thoughts slow the same way waves fade on a quiet shore. Scripture does not interrupt this process. It moves alongside it, patient, unhurried, unconcerned with outcomes. He leads me beside still waters. Stillness here is not silence alone. It is calm without pressure, movement without urgency, a steady presence that does not demand change. There is no need to check whether rest is happening. The body knows when it is safe. It knows how to respond when given permission. If the eyes close naturally, allow them to remain closed. If they open again, that is also fine. There is no correct posture for receiving rest. Scripture continues whether you are fully awake or gently drifting. It remains when awareness fades. It stays even when sleep begins to take shape. You are not required to remember these words. They are not instructions to follow later. They are companions in this moment. Sometimes rest arrives quietly. Other times it settles slowly, in layers. Neither approach is better. Both are natural. The nervous system responds best to consistency, a steady tone, a predictable pace, an absence of sudden change. This is why Scripture is often read slowly. Not to emphasize meaning, but to allow the body to recognize calm. There is nothing in this moment that needs resolution. Tomorrow does not need attention now. The past does not need review. This moment is enough. If thoughts return, let them pass without resistance. There is no need to follow their direction. They can move on their own. Scripture does not compete for attention. It does not demand focus. It simply remains available. You may feel closer to sleep now, or you may feel peacefully awake. Both are signs of rest. Nothing here will suddenly end. Nothing will pull you back into alertness. The words will continue with the same gentleness. Rest does not require protection. It does not need to be guarded. It unfolds naturally when space is allowed. Remain as you are. Allow the moment to continue. Everything necessary is already present. As the quiet continues, there is no need to hold on to awareness. Nothing here requires monitoring. Nothing needs to be checked or evaluated. Rest deepens most naturally when attention is allowed to soften. Scripture speaks often of trust, not as an effort, but as a release of control, a release of vigilance, a release of the belief that everything must be managed. Cast your cares. These words are not urgent. They do not insist on immediate action. They simply suggest that carrying everything alone is not necessary. You may notice the body becoming heavier, muscles resting into the surface beneath you, breathing settling into a steady rhythm, or perhaps only a gentle sense of quiet. There is no need to respond to these sensations, no need to guide them. They unfold naturally when permission is given. The mind may still produce thoughts. That is natural. Thoughts do not prevent rest. Only engagement does. Scripture does not argue with the mind. It does not attempt to silence it. It remains present without resistance. My peace I give to you. Peace here is not the absence of thought. It is the absence of threat. The recognition that, in this moment, nothing is required. You do not need to hold these words closely. They are not instructions to remember. They are meant to accompany you gently. If attention fades, allow it. If sleep begins to form, allow that too. Nothing will be missed. Rest often arrives when effort stops noticing itself. When the question, "Am I resting?" no longer appears. When the body feels safe enough to let go. Scripture supports this letting go. It does not rush the process. It does not demand a result. The pace remains steady. The tone remains calm. There will be no sudden changes. You are free to drift, free to remain awake, free to move between both states without concern. This moment is not about understanding. It is about allowing the nervous system to settle, to recognize consistency, to recognize safety. The body responds best when nothing unexpected occurs, when the environment remains predictable, when the voice remains gentle. Scripture has accompanied rest for generations, not because it explains rest, but because it allows space for it. You may find that awareness becomes quieter now, that the edges of thought soften, that effort feels unnecessary. There is no need to follow any direction. No need to anticipate what comes next. The words will continue without demand. Rest does not need to be achieved tonight. Even partial rest is enough. Even moments of calm are meaningful. Allow this moment to remain exactly as it is. Allow the words to continue alongside you. Nothing more is required. At this point, there is no need to remain present in a deliberate way. Awareness can fade naturally. The mind does not need to follow each sentence. Rest does not require supervision. Scripture often speaks to people in moments like this, not when they are alert and active, but when strength has softened and attention no longer insists on staying awake. He gives sleep to those he loves. This is not a promise earned through effort. It is not a result of doing something correctly. It is a gift offered without condition. You may feel yourself drifting in and out of awareness. Thoughts may become less clear. Images may appear briefly and disappear. This gentle movement is part of resting. There is no need to resist it. There is no need to hold on to wakefulness. The words will continue whether you are listening or sleeping. Scripture remains steady even when the listener rests. It does not depend on attention to be meaningful. Its presence alone is enough. The body often responds first. Muscles release without instruction. Breathing becomes slower, deeper, or simply quieter. The nervous system recognizes safety. Nothing here asks for alertness. Nothing here demands focus. There will be no sudden shift in tone or pace. The Lord watches over you. This watching is not anxious. It is not alert or tense. It is calm, constant, and unburdened. You do not need to remain aware to be held. You do not need to stay awake to be cared for. Rest does not interrupt presence. If the mind produces fragments of thought, let them dissolve. They do not need to be completed. They do not require meaning. Scripture does not chase the mind. It does not attempt to organize it. It allows the natural settling that comes with time. You may notice that the sense of time becomes unclear. Minutes may feel longer or shorter. This is natural. Rest loosens the grip of time. There is no need to adjust your position unless the body asks for it. No need to change anything intentionally. Stillness often deepens when movement is unnecessary. Scripture accompanies this stillness quietly. It does not interrupt. It does not hurry. You are not required to remain connected to the words. They are not instructions for later. They are present companions. If sleep arrives now, allow it fully. If wakefulness remains, allow that too. Both belong in this moment. Nothing here will end abruptly. Nothing will pull you back into effort. The same calm rhythm will continue. Rest is not fragile. It does not break easily. It unfolds naturally when nothing interferes. Allow yourself to remain here without expectation. Allow the moment to continue as it is. Everything needed is already in place. At this stage of the night, effort naturally begins to loosen. There is less need to stay attentive, less need to follow each sound. Rest deepens when attention no longer feels responsible. Scripture does not interrupt this process. It does not ask you to remain alert. It does not pull you back into thought. It stays present without expectation. Be still. These words are not a command. They are an invitation, an opening into quiet rather than a demand for silence. Stillness does not mean emptiness. It means there is no urgency, no pressure to act, no requirement to understand. You may notice that thoughts come more slowly now, or that they appear without forming complete ideas. This is natural. The mind is beginning to rest in its own way. There is no correct experience here, no sign you need to look for. Rest is not measured by how it feels in a single moment. Scripture allows the body to do what it already knows how to do, to soften, to release, to settle without instruction. Breathing continues on its own. The body remains supported. The environment remains calm. You are not expected to hold on to these words. They are not meant to be remembered. They are meant to accompany you gently. The Lord is near. Near does not mean alert or intense. It means present without effort, available without demand. You do not need to stay awake to be accompanied. Presence does not disappear when sleep arrives. Care does not depend on consciousness. If attention fades completely, that is welcome here. If sleep comes slowly, that is also welcome. Nothing needs to change. Scripture has always existed alongside rest, alongside night, alongside quiet. It does not hurry the listener. It does not fill every space. It allows silence to remain between words. You may feel the body becoming heavier now, or perhaps lighter. Both are signs of letting go. There is no need to guide this process, no need to assist it. Rest unfolds naturally when it is not observed too closely. The rhythm of the words will remain steady. The tone will remain gentle. Nothing unexpected will occur. You are safe to drift, safe to release attention, safe to rest in whatever way comes naturally. There is nothing you need to do next, nothing you need to prepare for. This moment is complete as it is. Allow the words to continue without effort. Allow the body to rest without awareness. Everything necessary is already present. As the night continues, awareness no longer needs to stay active. The body understands that it is safe to rest. Nothing is waiting. Nothing is being asked. Scripture does not seek attention now. It remains nearby, quiet and steady, like a presence that does not speak unless needed. There is wisdom in letting the mind wander, in allowing thoughts to soften without direction. Rest does not come from control, it comes from permission. Come to me, all who are weary. This is not a call to action. It is an assurance that weariness is allowed, that rest is not earned, only received. You may notice moments of silence between these words. Those spaces are intentional. They give the body room to release tension. They give the mind permission to stop forming meaning. There is no need to follow the structure of this reading. You do not need to know where it is going. You do not need to remain present until the end. Sleep does not interrupt this moment. It completes it. The nervous system responds to gentleness, to steadiness, to a lack of urgency. Nothing here is rushed. Nothing is sudden. The tone remains the same. If your breathing has slowed, allow it. If your body feels heavier against the surface beneath you, allow that too. There is no posture you need to maintain. Scripture has always lived alongside sleep, alongside night watches, alongside quiet hours when words are heard more deeply than they are understood. You lie down, and your sleep is sweet. This is not a promise you must check. It is a reminder that rest belongs to you. You do not need to analyze how close you are to sleep. The moment you stop measuring, rest deepens. The body knows how to move from listening to letting go, from hearing to resting, from awareness to ease. If attention drifts in and out, that is natural. If words begin to blur together, that is welcome. Nothing here requires clarity. There is no lesson to remember, no message to take with you into tomorrow. This moment exists only for now. Scripture remains patient. It does not expect a response. It remains steady even when it is no longer heard. You may already feel yourself drifting, or perhaps hovering between rest and awareness. Both are gentle places to be. There is no correct outcome, no ideal state, only the allowance of rest as it arrives. You are not late to this moment. You are not missing anything. Everything necessary is already unfolding. Allow the words to remain in the background. Allow sleep to move forward if it wishes. Nothing will be lost. This space is quiet. This moment is enough. You are free to rest. As the night deepens, there is less separation between listening and resting. The words no longer need to be followed. They can simply exist in the background, like a steady presence. Scripture does not need your attention to remain meaningful. It does not fade when awareness softens. It continues quietly, the same way calm remains even when unnoticed. At peace, I will lie down and sleep. This is not a goal to reach. It is a description of what becomes possible when striving ends. You may feel the mind letting go of structure. Thoughts may appear without order. Some may not complete themselves at all. This is a natural sign of rest approaching. There is no reason to hold on to clarity now. Understanding can rest. Analysis can rest. Nothing needs to be carried forward. Scripture does not require comprehension in this moment. Its role here is companionship, a steady presence that remains without asking anything in return. The body often follows the mind into rest. Breathing becomes quieter. Muscles soften without direction. The sense of effort fades. If you notice a gentle drifting sensation, allow it. If sleep feels close but not fully formed, allow that too. There is no need to hurry the process. Rest unfolds at its own pace. It cannot be forced. It arrives when the conditions feel safe. The rhythm here remains unchanged. There will be no sudden pause, no shift in tone, nothing that pulls you back into alertness. Scripture has long accompanied moments like this. Moments between wakefulness and sleep. Moments where words are felt more than understood. You do not need to stay awake to receive calm. You do not need to listen carefully. Presence does not depend on attention. If awareness fades completely, that is welcome. If you remain lightly awake, that is welcome too. Both are forms of rest. There is no end you need to reach, no conclusion you must hear. This moment is not moving toward an outcome. The body recognizes steadiness. It recognizes gentleness. It responds by releasing what it has been holding. Scripture does not interrupt this release. It supports it quietly, without instruction, without urgency. You may feel less connected to the words now. That is not a loss. It is a sign that rest is deepening. Nothing is being taken from you. Nothing is being missed. Everything here remains calm and consistent. Allow the night to continue as it is. Allow the body to rest in its own way. There is no need to monitor what happens next. You are not required to remain present. You are not required to stay awake. This space remains safe either way. Let the words soften into the background. Let rest take the lead. Everything necessary has already been given. There is very little that needs to be done now. The night has settled into its own rhythm. The body no longer looks for direction. It knows where it is. Scripture continues quietly, without drawing attention to itself. It does not attempt to guide or instruct. It simply remains present, steady, and calm. Peace I leave with you. These words are not something to hold on to. They are not something to repeat. They exist here without effort. You may notice that awareness feels distant. Thoughts may come without weight, or they may stop forming altogether. This is not emptiness, it is rest. There is no expectation that you remain connected to these words. They are not meant to be followed closely. They are meant to accompany you gently. The body often responds before the mind fully lets go. Breathing becomes natural and slow. Muscles soften without instruction. There is less sense of separation between yourself and the space around you. Scripture has always belonged to moments like this. Moments when listening becomes passive. Moments when words no longer need interpretation. You do not need to remain aware of where this reading is going. You do not need to anticipate what comes next. The present moment is enough. If sleep has already arrived, the words continue quietly. If sleep is still approaching, the words will wait. Nothing here rushes the process. Rest does not require completion. It does not arrive all at once. It unfolds naturally when the mind stops checking for it. You may feel yourself drifting between awareness and rest. That space is gentle. It does not need to be controlled. Scripture does not pull you back. It does not interrupt drifting. It allows the natural movement toward sleep. There is no signal you need to respond to, no moment you must notice. Nothing depends on attention. The body recognizes calm when it is sustained, when nothing changes suddenly, when there is no demand. The tone remains steady. The pace remains slow. Nothing will startle or surprise you. You are not required to remember these words later. They are not instructions for tomorrow. They exist only to support this moment. If awareness fades completely now, that is welcome. If it lingers lightly, that is welcome too. Both belong here. Scripture remains patient. It does not ask for engagement. It does not seek understanding. You may already feel distant from the sound of the voice. That distance is a sign of rest, not loss. Nothing needs to be held onto. Nothing needs to be concluded. This moment is allowed to remain unfinished. Allow the body to rest fully. Allow the mind to release gently. Everything necessary is already present. At this point in the night, there is no need to stay oriented. Time becomes less important. Thoughts no longer need to be named. Rest moves forward quietly, without announcement. Scripture remains present, but it does not insist. It does not rise or fall in tone. It does not signal transitions. It simply stays. Be still and know. These words are not asking for attention. They are not asking for understanding. They are an assurance that stillness itself is enough. The mind no longer needs to track meaning. Words can pass through without forming images. Awareness can soften without direction. There is no requirement to remain awake. There is no requirement to fall asleep. Both states are equally welcome here. The body often recognizes this space as safe. Safe enough to release tension that has been held quietly. Safe enough to stop monitoring what comes next. Breathing continues naturally. The body remains supported. Nothing needs adjustment. Scripture does not interrupt this process. It does not attempt to guide it. It allows rest to unfold without interference. You may notice that the boundary between listening and resting has blurred. Words may feel distant, or they may feel like part of the quiet itself. Both are signs of deepening ease. There is no reason to hold on to awareness now. There is no benefit in staying alert. Rest does not require supervision. The tone remains steady. The pace remains gentle. Nothing will change suddenly. Scripture has always existed within silence, within pauses, within the quiet spaces where effort fades. You do not need to stay with the voice. You do not need to follow the reading. The presence remains even when attention leaves. If sleep arrives fully, allow it. If it comes and goes, allow that too. Nothing here needs to be controlled. There is no message you must receive before resting. No insight you must carry forward. This moment is complete as it is. The body knows how to settle when it is no longer observed, when it is no longer guided, when it is simply allowed. Scripture remains patient. It does not hurry you. It does not wait for a response. You may feel very far from the words now. That distance is gentle. It is not separation. It is rest. Nothing is being taken from you. Nothing is being lost. The quiet remains steady. Allow the night to continue without effort. Allow rest to move naturally. There is nothing you need to do next. This space remains calm. This presence remains gentle. You are free to rest in whatever way comes. The night now feels settled in a way that does not require attention. There is no edge to hold, no point to follow. Rest exists without effort. Scripture continues as a steady presence. It does not attempt to awaken thought. It does not introduce anything new. It remains familiar and calm. My peace I give to you. This peace is not something to receive actively. It is something that rests quietly alongside you, unchanged by awareness. You may feel the body responding with deeper stillness, muscles releasing without instruction, breathing becoming less noticeable, the sense of effort fading almost completely. There is no reason to check how deeply you are resting. The moment you stop checking, rest deepens on its own. Nothing here needs measurement. Scripture does not compete with silence. It lives within it. Between the words, the quiet remains intact. If awareness flickers briefly, that is natural. If it fades completely, that is welcome. Both belong to rest. You are not expected to remain connected to the sound of the voice. It can move into the background. It can become part of the quiet. Nothing is lost when attention softens. The body recognizes consistency. It recognizes gentleness that does not change. It responds by letting go. Scripture has always accompanied moments like this, moments when listening becomes effortless, when words no longer require meaning. There is no outcome waiting at the end of this reading. No conclusion that must be heard. This moment is not building toward anything. Rest is allowed to arrive fully. It is also allowed to arrive slowly. There is no correct timing. The night continues quietly, without interruption. Nothing sudden will happen. Nothing will pull you back into alertness. Scripture remains patient. It does not expect a response. It does not ask for understanding. You may feel distant now. That distance is not separation. It is the space where rest lives. Nothing needs to be held. Nothing needs to be remembered. This moment is complete without effort. Allow the words to fade into the background. Allow the body to rest as it chooses. There is no need to stay present. This space remains calm. This presence remains gentle. Everything necessary is already here. By now, the night has fully settled around you. There is very little distinction between listening and resting. The words do not ask to be followed. They simply exist within the quiet. Scripture remains, but it does not announce itself. It stays close without needing to be heard clearly, like a steady presence that does not require recognition. In peace, you will lie down. This is not a direction. It is a gentle description of what naturally unfolds when effort has already faded. The body no longer waits for instruction. Breathing continues softly on its own. Muscles release without awareness. There is no need to adjust or respond. Thoughts may no longer appear as complete sentences. They may come as fragments, or they may not come at all. Both are signs of rest deepening. There is no reason to remain aware of time. Minutes do not need to be counted. The night does not move forward in steps. It simply continues. Scripture does not interrupt this state. It does not introduce new ideas. It does not create movement. It remains consistent and calm. If the voice feels distant now, that is expected. Distance here is softness, not separation. The words are doing their work quietly. There is no message hidden in this moment, no meaning to uncover. Rest does not depend on understanding. The body recognizes when it is safe to let go, when nothing is required, when nothing changes suddenly. Scripture has always lived in moments like this. Moments when hearing becomes passive, when listening blends into silence. You are not expected to remain awake. You are not expected to fall asleep. Both are equally welcome here. If sleep arrives fully, the words will continue gently. If awareness lingers, the calm will remain. Nothing here disrupts rest. There is no end you need to reach, no final thought to hold. This space is not moving toward conclusion. The tone remains unchanged. The pace remains steady. Nothing will pull you back into alertness. You may feel very far from the sound now. That distance is the space where rest deepens. It does not require attention. Nothing needs to be carried into tomorrow. Nothing needs to be remembered. This moment exists only for now. Allow the night to continue naturally. Allow the body to rest without awareness. Everything necessary is already present. At this stage of the night, there is almost nothing left to notice. Awareness no longer needs to remain present. The body rests without supervision. The mind no longer looks for direction. Scripture continues quietly, as it has all along. It does not rise or fall. It does not signal that anything is ending. It simply remains. Rest now. These words do not ask for response. They do not require belief. They exist gently without urgency. The space around you feels steady. Nothing moves quickly. Nothing demands attention. Everything remains calm and consistent. Thoughts, if they appear, pass through without weight. They do not form stories. They do not ask to be followed. They dissolve naturally. The body recognizes this as a place of safety, a place where effort is no longer needed, a place where nothing is expected. Scripture does not attempt to hold your attention. It does not invite reflection. It does not create meaning. It stays close without being noticed. If sleep has already taken over, the words continue gently. If awareness drifts in and out, that is welcome. Nothing here interrupts rest. There is no reason to stay with the sound of the voice. It can move fully into the background. It can blend with the quiet. Nothing is lost. The night does not require progression. It does not move toward a goal. It remains open and still. Scripture has always existed in this kind of space, between waking and sleeping, between listening and silence. You are not required to reach an ending. You are not expected to remain awake. This moment does not ask anything of you. The tone remains unchanged. The rhythm remains slow. Nothing will shift suddenly. If awareness fades completely now, that is natural. If it lingers softly, that is natural too. Both belong here. Nothing needs to be remembered. Nothing needs to be taken forward. This moment exists without obligation. The body rests because it can. The mind rests because it no longer needs to work. Everything settles on its own. Scripture remains patient. It does not hurry. It does not conclude. You may feel as though nothing is happening now. That is exactly where rest lives, in the absence of effort. Allow the quiet to remain. Allow rest to continue without interruption. There is nothing else you need to do. There is nothing left to wait for now. The night holds you exactly as it is. No direction is needed. No attention is required. Scripture remains here quietly without marking an ending. It does not close a thought. It does not resolve anything. It stays present, as it has from the beginning. Come to me, all who are weary. These words do not call you forward. They simply remain available, gentle, steady, unchanged. You may no longer be listening in any deliberate way. The sound of the voice may feel distant, or it may blend into the quiet completely. Both are signs that rest has taken the lead. There is no reason to return to awareness. No need to notice what comes next. This moment does not move toward a conclusion. The body continues resting because it knows how. Breathing remains soft and natural. Nothing needs to be adjusted. Nothing needs to be checked. Scripture does not end when attention fades. It remains quietly present, like calm that continues even when unnoticed. If you are asleep now, the words remain gentle. If you are still lightly awake, the quiet remains steady. Nothing here changes suddenly. This space was created without urgency. It remains without urgency. There is no signal to leave. If this moment has felt supportive, you are welcome to return whenever you need rest. There is no schedule, no expectation. You may choose to remain here. You may return another night. This space will remain the same. Scripture does not require commitment. It does not ask for a response. It simply offers presence. The tone remains calm. The pace remains slow. Nothing pulls you forward. As the words continue softly, they return to the same place they began. A quiet invitation to rest. A moment where nothing needs to be solved. If your mind stirs briefly, it may notice the same gentle beginning again. The same calm entry into stillness. The same absence of demand. There is no clear boundary between ending and beginning here. The reading flows naturally. Rest remains uninterrupted. Allow the words to continue as they are. Allow the night to hold you. Everything necessary is already present. And if you ever wish to return to this quiet space, you are welcome here. Now or another time. There is no rush.